Hey everyone, I am out here painting a banana. The prompt that we're doing is lunch or food, and I was actually going to paint the skull that I set up, which I'll probably paint after. But then I was eating a banana for lunch and I threw away the peel, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I really like how the light's coming through and this bright orange right here. And, you know, it's kind of an old banana. You know how I like that character. So here I am making a little pivot to my still life, as I usually do. Here's my palette and the brushes that I'm using. Some of these are doubles. Like these two are pretty much the exact same thing. Listening to a podcast, Freakonomics, drinking my beer. It's pretty chill today. And we got Coconut back here. Say hi, Coconut. She says hi. So this is my day. Does anyone have any questions? It's been a while since I've done any videos. I usually have my camera set up better, but I think I'm just gonna hold it while I do a little bit of painting and talk. I need to start practicing talking because I have a workshop coming up with urban sketchers. I'm a little nervous about it. Oops. I got dirt on my painting. So I'm just blocking in all the white as usual, and I'm working really watery. I'm gonna go to a bigger brush. I usually like to work with the biggest brushes that I have at first. And there's some dirt in the painting. Hopefully it just will rub off later. I'm not being very careful with this one. So as you get in the foreground, you want it to be a little warmer to come at you. And then as you go back, even though up here you can't really see much of a difference, I'm going to push it to be a little cooler in the back to give it a little more depth. So something like this. It's really hard to take a video with one hand and paint with the other, so I'm sorry if it's not very clear. I'm surprised my Wi-Fi is actually working today. The last times I've tried to do videos, it's pooped out on me. So, like I said, I'm just getting all this white page filled in. It's very thin paint. What am I painting with? This is gouache. Is that what you were asking? I usually paint with gouache. Oh, did I show you my setup? This is my umbrella that I have strapped to a kitchen chair. And anyway, this is drawing. Oh, my easel. It's a Soltech easel. You can buy it online. I think it's around $500, so it's a little pricey, but I really like it. Took me a little while to get used to it, but I think it's my favorite. So, let's see. I'm going to clear off the palette a little bit because it's kind of messy. I don't mind it being too messy. I'm not super picky when I'm painting about keeping things clean. I think it kind of unifies the palette as a whole if it's a little bit dirty. So I have everything pretty much blocked in. Show you the painting in the light. Maybe we can let it dry a little bit. There's a bunch of dirt on there. And you can kind of compare over here. So that's what the initial phase looks like. Just gonna let it sit in the sun for a little bit. If I tried to work on this now, the colors would just bleed like that, which I don't mind for the first round, and it kind of gives you nice softer edges if you want that way. I need to learn to kind of leave some of this. I have a tendency to go over everything. We have this dog. There she is. Sleeping Pity mix. Does anybody have any questions so far while this is drying? Oh, you're losing the audio. Maybe it's my hand. Is this better? Thank you. All the way from Korea, that's awesome. So it's definitely drying pretty fast in the sun. It's still a little bit wet, but I think I can probably get back into it. And the umbrella that I'm using is a white umbrella, and it kind of, I was using the one that blocked out the sun completely, but I found that my color was pretty off because it would be in such dark shadow. All right, let's start this again. And I like to check it between the sunlight and the shadow just to make sure that it's all working. So I'm going back in with thicker paint this time. It's important to have the palette in the same kind of shady condition as the painting so you can get the right color. And I'm getting the lighter parts first. I'm not going to do a video of the whole thing because it's tricky to do this with one hand. But I figured I could show you. I'm hoping that this will dry a little bit darker, but right now I'm trying to get in the lights just to block in the lights and shadows, since that's what changes first. You hear all the birds? It sounds so nice out right now. I have a couple of yellows that I'm using. This is a cadmium yellow medium or deep. No, I think it's medium. I have a deep back here, which is the orange kind of one. And I mixed them together just because I am kind of messy like that. And then the light one, this one is a cadmium yellow or lemon yellow. So that's the ones I'm using, and I like to add in a little bit of cadmium red to tone it down slightly. So I'm going in. I love painting bananas because you can really see their defined shapes very clearly. They have nice planes. So when I'm painting and I have one color, I kind of look around the whole scene and see if I can use that color somewhere else. So I have kind of a greenish tip here, which I see up here, which makes sense because that's where it was connected. So I'm going up here, adding a little bit of that same green, and it's going to help unify it. So here's the painting so far. Now that I have the lights put in, I'm gonna go in and put in the darkest darks. And putting in the lightest lights and the darkest darks helps with the value structure overall. So there's this little black end here. And right where the banana is touching the ground is where it's darkest. It's the contact shadow. I'm not very good with my art terms. And there's a little bit of that going on up here. Sorry, it's kind of dark. I have done that a lot. I usually paint tons of fruit and my husband's always asking me if I'm gonna eat it, which I do sometimes. I'm not the best at it. If I don't get to it, I make sure to give it to our chickens. So I put a little bit of orange in there. That's because there's a lot of reflective light. I don't know if you can see. I don't know. Adding that orange gives it that glow. And once again, I'm kind of looking around and seeing where else I see this happening. There's a little bit of that here. I'm gonna throw a little bit of orange down there. And then I see a little bit over here. And then glowing onto the ground. And soften it. Going back to get my darks and define the form. Oh, great. I'm glad you can see it. It's hard to tell with this. The shadow gets darkest at this little curve. And you can see the little ridge right here in the shadow. See? It's kind of nice holding the camera because I can show you my reference. All right. Now for the edges around the banana, I see this dark spot where it's already starting to kind of maybe rot. I'm gonna put that in. And I'm using this is a 1/2-inch flat. And I love using flats because you can get so many different edges and line work with them. But lately I have been using a lot more rounds than normal, and I'm enjoying them. Trying to not be too precious with it. I try to hold the brush a little farther back. It keeps things a little more loose. If you hold it too uptight like this, it's just more rigid overall. I see a little bit of the edges going here, here. Oh, the light's moving really fast. You can see my palette's already half in the light now. This edge right here is hitting the sun, and it almost looks kind of a purpley blue. And there's some of that coming up over here where it's hitting the sun. It's pretty. So I want to get this part right here. Ooh. It's all really tricky because I see some blues, but I want it to be kind of glowing at the same time. So it takes a lot of experimentation. And while they look blue, it's actually probably closer to gray. It's just the comparing colors. Anyway, I think I'm about to head out so I can finish this up without making my arm tired. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll be posting this probably tomorrow once I can get proper light to take a photo of it. Let me show it to you again out in the light. That's it so far. I'll be posting progress shots in my stories too. Thank you, Christmas. Matthew USP card. Hi. Oh, I'm so bad with Instagram names. Here's a banana, and let's go say bye to Coconut. Say bye, Coconut. She's all dirty. Bye.